Hello everyone, this is Greg from Mystery Honey. This week it's kind of dull, a bit cold, but it's not raining. It was forecast to be peeing it down all day, but unfortunately it's not, so I'm going to try and do a full inspection of all my hives today. The main focus today is to go into the mating apiary and see what effect the Formic Pro had on the colonies there. I probably won't go through the nukes because I know where they're at and they haven't got any treatments on. I'm just going to focus on the hives. I did a bit of research about Formic Pro. There doesn't seem to be anything online where someone's actually done the treatments on nucleus colonies. There is a minimum amount of bees that are required for Formic Pro. So chances are, I don't think you can use Formic Pro on nukes, which is quite bad really if you think about it. What I might do is I might use ApiGuard. I've still got some of that left over, so I might do some ApiGuard, but it will last a long time to do. Or what else I could do is I could just wait and just do an oxalic vape or dribble. Nukes are a lot smaller than hives and are a lot tighter packed, so it might be worth doing a dribble because it might be more effective, might not be. I'm not too sure. Now, the positive is that I've not seen any signs of varroa in the nukes yet, so that's good. But I don't like the idea of not doing an autumn treatment. It's something that I'm going to have to think about anyway. I could always do Apivar treatment because I've still got some strips left, but I am quite averse against Apivar just because of the miticide treatment. I don't like to put the miticide in my comb because it means that I can't use that comb again for like honey and stuff like that. So I don't like that. So yeah, I think probably going to be ApiGuard. We'll see. I'll have a think about that while I'm doing my inspections today. Other than the Formic Pro and seeing what effect that has had on the hives that I've treated, I'm pretty much just going to do some normal inspections. Hopefully I'll get to the production apiary and I'll tighten them down. I'm going to be transferring the hives from the production apiary to my mating apiary. The reason for that is that my production apiary is being closed down and is being converted into a commemorative rose garden or something like that. So what the landowners have told me is that they're going to build me a brand new apiary in the middle of a wildflower field, and yeah, it's going to have nice fencing, it's going to have proper flooring, it's going to have some nice stands and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited for it, but what I need to do is I need to transfer those hives out of the ASAP. That's the main job for the production apiary really. Other than that, let's just see what happens and see if anything interesting happens. I can't imagine it taking too long today because I'm not actually going to be going into the house too much. Probably the Formic Pro ones, I'll make sure that they've got eggs, but other than that, I'm pretty much just going to leave the hives to it. I'm just going to make sure that they're weighing okay, and if they're not, I'm going to put some food on. I'm going to go get my bee suit on now and let's get cracking. Right, this is the first one. As I said today, I'm not really looking in the nukes too much. That's hefting quite well, so there's no point in looking in that one. I know it's queen right. So this had the varroa treatment, Formic Pro in it. It's been 7 days since I've done this. This treatment is a 10-day treatment, so I've got a few more days left before I can take it out, but I am going to have a quick look and just make sure that there's some eggs still in here because I don't want there to have been any queen death. There's a few things that can go wrong with Formic Pro. It can be released all at the same time, and if that's the case, sometimes it can cause the queen to die or can cause a lot of the brood to die as well. In doing it on double brood boxes like I've done here, or brood and hearths, I'm hoping that the extra space will allow the Formic Pro to vent out and not be super concentrated where it gets to the stage where it kills the queen. So we'll see. Anyway, let's have a look. I've had a few other bee farmers mention that they hate the idea of Formic Pro these days just because it can cause some issues like that. But I always like to try things out myself. If it doesn't work well this year, then I won't use it again. But so far this year, when I've done some tests, tried it on some colonies, it seems to have been okay. So I'm going to check upstairs. Now this, I remember rightly, was just food up here. but we'll see. Oh, so properlised down. So I don't know if you remember what I said last week. When you're splitting these frames apart, don't do the lugs, because there's so much propolis and wax holding these things in and together that you'll just snap the lug off. It's always better to use the main body, and always do it near the actual spaces, just because that's where a lot of the propolis will be holding the frames together. So we'll lift this up. So what have we got here? So we've got, yes, this is just a food frame from what it looks like. It's full of shiny honey. Put it back. Well, the bees seem okay. They don't seem hurt or in pain or anything like that, so that's good. So the Formic Pro hasn't done a huge amount of damage to them at the moment. We'll see what it's like queen-wise as soon as I can get this in. Whoa. These frames are very tight together. Oh, right. Let's lift this box off and let's have a look. So the majority of the formic acid is released from the Formic Pro in the first 3 days. So right now we're just doing a catch-all, really. You can tell mainly because, first of all, I'm getting smell of smoke rather than formic acid. So first of all, the smell of formic acid has almost completely gone. I can't smell it. And these pads that were wet beforehand are quite solid now and quite dry. So that's good. So that's good to me, that's gone a bit drier. So I'm going to check around here, see if I can find any, well, we're looking for eggs, and if we can't find eggs, then we're looking for queen cells. If there's no eggs and there's no queen cells, it means that the queen's still there, she's just taking a bit of a brood break, which can occur when you use Formic Pro as well. That can usually occur when you're doing any Vero treatments, so don't worry about it too much. Now, if you see queen cells, it means that they've got rid of the queen. Hang on, just need to smoke these guys down a little bit. Last time I came in here, I put some smelly strips on them, so they're probably not happy with me being here. So what we're looking for is eggs. So we've already got some capped brood here. Let me just budge these out of the way. Budge out of the way. So all I'm doing is I'm just brushing the back of my hand on bees and they're moving out of the way because they don't like being touched. So there's some capped brood there. Where's my torch? So you can see there, capped brood here. What we're looking for now is eggs, which we've got loads of eggs. All of these cells have eggs in them, so that's great. And we've got lots of larvae over here. So what can occur sometimes is that the open larvae dies because of the Formic Pro, which is really sad. But then what the bees do is they clear those cells out and the queen goes on a laying spree, which seems to be what's happened here. So we've got some open cappings here and here. Let's move this out the way so you're not being blinded by smoke. So yeah, so we've got some open cappings here. It looks a bit like bald brood. What they've done is they've probably opened up the cappings just to check on the bees in there. It seems okay. So we've got loads of eggs, loads of larvae still going strong. Not that many old larvae, so it's all young, very young larvae, like from the past couple of days. So I reckon what's happened here, just from one frame actually, I should have a look at the others before I start making deductions. So let's have a look at the other ones first. That could have just been an empty frame beforehand, or freshly emerging brood. So a lot of bees on here. See if I can see the queen. If I can't, then I might have to shake them off just so I can see underneath. Okay, I'm just going to do a little shake. Have a little quick look. yeah, so again, we've got a little patch of cat brood here. There, and then in the centre, there's no eggs, but no larvae either. Oh, there's eggs all over this one. So this whole comb's been eggied. That's the official term. Yeah, so there's no larvae so far. I'm not going to go any further in. I've seen eggs. There's definitely a queen still there. She's laying. She's happy. And what will have happened is we've just cleared out the majority of the varroa in this colony. So I think that's a pretty successful one. Right, put that back there. So I'm going to leave this for another, 3 days? And then after that, I'll take them out. And the benefit of these things, another really good benefit of Formic Pro that's better than all the others that are out there, is that Formic Pro can be composted. So this is completely biodegradable, which is really, that's like a big thing for me. I love the fact that that's biodegradable, that you can just compost it. Because Formic Pro is a completely natural and in very small quantities, harmless acid. It's already in the honey and stuff like that. So that's really good. And this stuff is made up of a biodegradable paddy. Like that. So it's brilliant. I really like Formic Pro so far, just for those things. But we'll go through the other colonies before I start making me mind up fully. And make a decision whether we actually want to keep using it for the future. Right. Close this up. Let's go on to the next one. So this one's the lovingly named Stingy Hive, because it was stinky. I'll see what this one's like. Now this one didn't have a huge amount of brood to begin with, so if it's seen off the queen, then so be it, unfortunately. Queen wasn't a good one. If I'd seen her, I would have seen her off myself and then swapped her out with one of the new ones that were in the nukes over there. But hopefully this way we'll have cleared out any varroa that's in here, so if I do have to transfer a nuke across, it means that that queen's going into a lovely varroa-less hive. So last week and the week before that, because these guys haven't really done a right lot, all the brood was focused on these frames here. So I'm going to have a look there. These frames here with the green dots on, I'm going to smoke these guys because they are particularly grumpy. To be honest, it's not a particularly nice day. It's just dry, which is positive. Smoke yourself. Alright. So I'm going to do a quick investigation of where the brood was last time. The 3 green dots here were fresh frames that I'd put in from over here that were completely empty. So I may have a quick look there, see if the queen's moved forwards a bit, but I guess it's probably not. I'll look at the one with the red pin in it. Let's have a look. Lift it. So this has got some cat brood on it. A lot of cat brood on it, actually. See if I can see the queen. See the queen. So I'm just going to have a quick look down the comb, see if you can see eggs. Remember, if they get in your way, just blow. Especially if you just brush your teeth, they don't particularly like it. So we've got some eggs, and they are completely vertical. So the queen is probably on this frame somewhere. I think she's going to be a small queen. Usually they're the ones that I can't find very easily. Okay. Right, we'll have a look in another frame. So I found eggs though, so that's positive. That means that there's a queen still in here. She's not a particularly great queen. As you can see, the bees are quite stingy. Well, not stinging me, but they are quite aggressive at me. No larvae, but she's actually laid up this whole frame. So maybe I've kicked her into gear. But yeah, every single one of these cells has got an egg in it. That's good. And every single one of these has got an egg in it as well. So there's no larvae that I've seen. So I think what's happened is that the Formic Pro has killed the larvae, which is very sad. But in doing so, it has sparked the queen into laying like crazy. So it means a lot of these bees will all emerge around the same time. I'm just going to have a look at this green dotted one and see what they're doing with it. So we've got honeycomb, freshly drawn comb on it. You can't see any eggs. No eggs whatsoever. Okay. I think one scratched me then with its sting. Right in the cheek. You can get me. It was close. Right. We'll close these guys up because they're getting grumpy. So that there's an egg in here, so it means that they queen right. Let's just build them back up and leave them alone. Right, pop that back over here. Close them up. Right, now that I've got rid of all those stingy bees, I'm going to have a quick look and see what we've got here. Because one or two of these, I didn't know if they had a queen or not. I think this, I ticked one. Yeah, so I think it was this one that I wasn't sure on here. Oh, God, that's hard. So it's a strong colony. Let's see if we can bring you a bit closer. Right, so we're going to have a quick look, see if we can find a queen or some eggs. I'm trying my best to keep out of your way, but you are right. Right on the edge, so it's going to be a bit awkward otherwise. Could I do it from the other side? I might try and do it from the other side. Yeah. This is a bit more cramped, but it means that you guys can see, so worth it. Right, here we are. Let's have a look. Frame of honey. It's fine. What I'm looking for is a frame of eggs. If not, then we shall have to shake these out or add these to another nuke. No eggs yet. No eggs. Right, we're going to the central frames now. Have to break this. What I said, break it there on the actual frame, not in the lugs. There's a great big hole in this one. Yeah, still no eggs. So I think something's happened to this queen. Because this colony is quite strong. I forgot here, we've got... So we've got pollen. And pollen there, right in the centre, so that's how they store pollen for winter. So I don't know if you can see that. So you see that it's kind of gooey, looks kind of like bread, it's called bee bread. They store it through winter like that. So they store it where it's all mushed up and stuff, and then they start putting honey over the top of it. And that keeps it fresh over winter. So when it comes to spring, they can use it again. But yeah, so we've got no eggs whatsoever. Okay, and then last frame. If this is empty, then I'm going to have to combine these with someone else, probably next door. So there's two things you can do. You can either shake them out in front of another hive, and the bees will climb up and they'll go and bolster that hive, or you can combine them. So when it's something like this and I know the queen's not in there, I prefer just to combine. It's nice and easy, less mess outside, less stress for the bees as well. So I'm going to go get a bit of newspaper and then we'll do some combining, and I'll combine it with, what you like? But you're full of food. Do not need another. So that's a really strong nuke. So I'll probably combine it with this one. See what this guy's like. Yes, this is a weak colony, so combining them together will mean that this smaller colony here will become stronger. So, right, put this back in. I'll do a little combination. Whee! Right. Ooh, try not to fall over. Okay, so I'm going to combine this colony with this colony. This is queen right, but it's quite small and weak. And this colony is a bit stronger, but it's got no queen. So, open these up again. So, hopefully, in adding these bees on top of here, these will bolster the queen that's in here. So first of all, we need to make sure that the queen is okay in here. I want to make sure the queen's right, and it's fine. Because as you can see, she's not using half these frames because it's so small. I'm just getting attached to the gate, to the fence. All right. No eggs there. Right, I'm sure I saw the queen. Oh, so we've got some brood here. Now that's drone brood. That's not what we want to see. We don't want to see drone brood. Oh. Maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was. We've got multiple eggs in one cell. So, this queen isn't actually a good queen. That's disappointing. So, the question is, what do we do? Yeah, so this is all drone brood. Which isn't good. That's terrible. Okay, so we've got two nukes that we need to get rid of. So combining is not an option. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, I'm getting attacked by a bloody fence. So that's queenless, and this has a drone laying queen, which sucks. So we're going to have to shake. So if it's queenless, you can combine, that's fine. If it's got a drone laying queen, then you are best to either find the queen and see her off, or shake her out. Now I couldn't find the queen then, so I'm going to have to shake these out in front of another colony. So I'm going to still combine these ones with another colony that I know is queen right, but a bit weak. So it's probably one of the ones over there, but this one needs to be shaken out. So I'm going to shake this out in front of a hive over there. So let's do that. So when you're going to be shaking out a hive or a colony into another one, always give them something that they can walk on. So get rid of these bits of debris, and I've got two queen excluders here. I'm going to jam it underneath this hive here, and if you can see, I've put them opposite directions so the bees can't fall through. This colony here is super strong, but it's also where I've been shaking all my bees that need to be shaken out. So that's probably why it's grown exponentially. So what I'm going to do is just shake them out. It's a shame that this queen was drone laying, but it happens, especially when you're mating queens this late in the year. Some just don't get out because it's raining too much. And sometimes they just have something wrong with them that don't get a chance to mate, like a wing's damaged or something along those lines. Anything could happen to cause a queen to become drone laying or for a queen not to turn up. So shake them out. If I saw the queen, I'd destroy her, but I haven't seen her, so I'm not gonna. The guard bees will do that job for me, so I don't have to worry too much about that. These bees will now find the entrance to this hive here. They'll slowly work their way in. At some point, the alarm will go up for the guard bees, and they'll come to the entrance and start checking everyone's IDs as they come in and seeing if any of them are a queen or not. Right, so that's them shaking out. As you can see, they're starting to make their way into the hive now. In a few minutes, you'll see guard bees coming, and there'll be some heads here poking out, and they'll be checking all of these bees, making sure that they are, that they aren't queens. As for this nuke, it can go into storage because I'm not making any more for the rest of the year. Cool. Right, I'm going to leave them to it now. Let's see if we can combine the other one. Right, so if I remember rightly, this one here isn't very strong. So I'm going to have a quick look, check the queen, always important. And then once I do that, I'm going to then, as long as she's queen right and the laying worker brood, I'm then going to combine the queenless one with this. So it's a shame that I've had 2 failures, but out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, out of 11 queens, it's not too bad. So here we are. Right. Time to check for a mated queen. I'm pretty sure I saw this queen last week, but I don't want to. Say for sure. So we're looking for worker brood. As you can see, it's doing okay size-wise, but it's not huge. Problem with having your nukes so tightly put together like this is that you don't have a lot of maneuverability. So there's larvae in here. So there's definitely a queen in here. So it's time to see whether there is worker brood. That's what we want to see. So we've got larvae, single eggs at the bottom, so that's good. We've also got a queen cell right here. So that's confusing. We've got eggs, so I'm going to remove that. Let's see what's going on. That's a dead larvae inside. Okay, interesting. But we do have eggs. We do have larvae. And there's another queen cell down here. And it is empty. It's got loads of royal jelly, but it doesn't have a larvae in there. Loads of larvae here though. This one's a pickle. I'm not sure what's going on with this one. So that's got an egg inside the queen cup there. So there's definitely a queen here. But the bees don't seem happy with her. I wonder if she's got back late after being mated and they're just a bit unsure on her. I don't know, we'll see. So those are drone brood cappings there. That's annoying. Can't be another one. The drone laying queen. So there's lots of larvae. That's confusing. Why would I have put a tick on it? It was a drone laying queen. I don't know. So this is a drone laying queen, it seems. The bees don't like it. They're producing queen cells. Problem is, if they create queen cells from drone brood, it'll just become a drone. That's the issue with it. So these guys are unable to create their own queen. So I'm going to have to do another shakeout. That's disappointing. It's less nukes than I wanted this year. Right. Let's shake them out again. Well, today's not going how I planned. Oh, what's even worse is that it's getting darker for some reason. It was forecast to be rain and storms today and yesterday. It rained a bit yesterday, but that's about it. So we'll have to see what it's like. Anyway, let's get rid of this drone laying colony. It'll move the way up into that nuke there and bolster that. I think it particularly needs bolstering, really, but it's the easiest one to bolster right now. Move that away. Go away. Okay. Any bees that are flying will fly to one of the other nukes and make their way into there, so don't worry about that too much. Well, this is annoying. Wanted a nice easy video for you guys. They'll start making their way up in a minute. They're just trying to figure out what's going on. Don't worry. Right, I'll come and smoke them to help them on the way. So if bees start taking a detour from where you want them to go, just smoke and they'll go the opposite direction. Make like a little circle of smoke, and they'll herd in the way that you want them to. As you can see, they're starting to make their way up that lid there, and soon they'll be at that entrance. Just keep smoking like that. hopefully these bees will make their way up to the top there. Once one or two make it up and find that there's a hive up there, they'll start moving up. You can see that now, actually. You can see that it's already starting to move upwards. And same again, as they go up, the bees will check for any queens that are trying to get in, see them off. And any other bees they'll probably just let in and let bolster the numbers. I'm just keeping an eye out, seeing if I can see the queen. Just want to spread out like this sometimes so you can catch them. And if that's the case, then it'll make it a bit easier. So these guys are going the wrong way. They're going down the side of the roof, which is not where I want. Well, because it's not where I want, smoking in the place where they're going to be. There you are. I've got some that have made it into the entrance now. So once they get to the entrance, they'll start making their way in. Right, that's good enough. Alright, I'll leave them to it. We'll see what they look like in a minute. Let's try and find a nuke I can actually combine that one with them. Right then. Now, I found worker brood in these nukes last time. But because today's been going absolutely dreadful, I'm going to check again. Now this one is pretty weak. So if I can bolster it, that's for the best. Oh, just let me smoke them. They don't like being open when it's cold, so smoke them a little bit, cool them down a bit. What's this up? So what have we got here? It's just a piece of comb. Foundation that's been drawn out, or being drawn out rather. I'll put that to the sides, to be honest. Probably won't get a chance to draw it out now. So, yeah, lovely worker brood. That's what we want to see. Right, so I can combine this one then. Brill. Let's put this one out of frame inwards a bit. So I've got more comb for the queen. And this time of year, I don't like to restrict the queen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this combination without putting a queen excluder on. It's not particularly windy, and the main reason you use a queen excluder is to hold the newspaper down. But because it's not windy, it should be okay. So the first thing to do is to get as many bees down as possible. So smoke them so they all head downwards. Then you lay the newspaper on top. A single sheet of newspaper can do fine. Right, I want to tightly push that down here, like that. Like that. And then I'm going to poke a couple of holes in. So find where the hole is between two frames. There's a frame from there, frame there. And just do a few little scritches. Don't need a huge amount, just one or two just to let the smells go through. The majority of the bees are on this side, so I'm not going to bother with the other side right now. Okay. So now that's there, and that is stopping bees from coming out. I want to go get the other colony. So the colony is here. So what I'm going to do is take the lid off this one, and lift this up. Whoop. The wind's going to catch that after saying it's not a windy day, of course. Right, I'm going to push this down so it's tight. So now there's a newspaper dividing these two boxes, so that's good. So what I'm going to do now is try and get as many of the bees from this colony in here and put the feeder back on. Because there's quite a few bees on the floor here, so I'm just going to tap them in. On the side. Okay. Smoke a bit, smoke down. Now I've got some in the roof here. Tap that in. Out. And slowly lower this on. Pushing them out of the way. Just wiggle it a bit before you lower it down. That gives the bees enough time to move out of the way. And then put the lid on. And then forget about them for a bit. Take about 2 or 3 days for them to mix together, but hopefully by the end of it, they'll be nice and bolstered. Sound good? Right. Oh, let's clear these away. As you can see, in the time it's taken me to just combine those colonies, they've already started a steady stream up into the other nuke box. The reason that they are clumping clumping right here is because that the guard bees of the nuke have now got to the entrance and they're only letting in certain bees. If the queen, that is a drone laying queen, tries to get in, those guard bees will see her off. They've got the job cut out for them now, because if you look at that, there's a fair few bees to go through. Right, on to the next colonies. Right, thankfully I can check these colonies now and get back to the mission. Right, so I'm going to lift this lid, plonk, this crown board, down, just tap it. So I'm just making sure that there's some eggs. As long as there's some eggs, that's all that matters really. I don't think there'll be any eggs in the top box right now. Or maybe there will. No, I don't think there will. So I'll check the bottom box. Now, when you get colonies that are done the warm way, a lot of the time they push all the brood rearing to the back. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to smoke these guys down a little bit. I'm going to check these back frames rather than the front frames. If you look here, the bees have already started chewing the paper away. So I think the Formic Pro has finished its treatment really. Still going to keep it on until next week because it can't do any harm. But yeah, so let's have a look. It's gone really dark now for some reason. I hope it's not going to storm. It does look like it's going to though. There's no eggs there. No eggs here. Yeah, that's right there. Just start moving our way a bit more inwards to the centre. No eggs. No eggs. So remember what I said, sometimes if you don't see eggs, then don't worry too much. The bees do tend to go on a brood break sometimes. What you have to worry about is if you start seeing queen cells. If you start seeing queen cells, it means that they are queenless, which requires a bit of concern. Right. So, she might be in the top box, so I'm not worried yet. Just doing a quick check, see if I can see her. Yeah, so I'll check the top box, see what happens. Wiggle these across. Excuse me. Watch out, don't want to hurt anyone. There we go. I'm going to put this back in. Okay, back here, like so. I think it was the other way around, wasn't it? Oh well, doesn't matter. Right, let's put this box back on and let's look for queen cells. So the benefit of having one of these dummy boards is that there's no bees on them. Oh, there's very few. Definitely won't have the queen on it. So you can remove that and it gives you a lot more space to move about without taking out a frame. So that's good. So if you can get a dummy board, it's really useful. So what have we got here? Nothing as such yet. Wow, it's really dark. Eesh. Right, this is quite heavy. So, right, so we have loads of queen cells here. What that means is that the queen has perished from Formic Pro treatment. So, I'm not going to shake these because I don't want to damage the queens. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and find a cell that I'm happy with. But yeah, so we've got no eggs, and these are all emergency cells. So that means that the queen has died from the Formic Pro. I'm going to move that to the side here. Just check the other side, see if there's no queen cells on there. Okay, so that is not what we want. So what have we got? We've got 1 out of 3 so far. We've got a lot of capped brood on here. On the edges. Yeah, no eggs in the middle at all. So yeah, I think that the queen has died in this one, and they've had to make some emergency cells. Okay. Well, that's a full frame of worker brood with a queen cell at the bottom. So I'm actually tempted to keep this queen cell because it's all on its own, and destroy all the others. Yeah, I think I might keep looking. But this is not what I wanted. I didn't want to see queen cells. I didn't want the queens to die. Now, these were pretty old queens. So, I'm not too surprised that they have died from this treatment. So we've got quite a few more queen cells here. This one has been torn down. Okay, so I'm going to have to make some decisions now. These queen cells look all small and piddly, so I'm going to get rid of them. Queen cells on that side. No queen cells on this side, I don't think. No. Okay. So I found that queen cell there. It's on its own. Less chance of it getting knocked by others, so I'm going to put the dot on this one, and I think that's going to be the queen cell I stay with. Yeah. I'm going to put a dot there so I know where it is. I want to go through now and I'm going to destroy any other queen cell I can find in this hive. I'll save them to the last. So this is just honey, I think. Yeah. So these guys were well prepped for winter. I think they needed a bit more food, but not much. But now, because the queen is dead, it's kind of thrown the future of this colony into a bit of an unknown place. Knock these cells down so hope we can see that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cells, 11 cells if you include that one at the bottom, which I don't think is a cell. And they're all conjoined like that. They've all been built out together, which I don't like those sorts of cells. So I'm going to destroy all of these if I can. The pheasants are going to get a good feed, it seems. Where I am, I've got some pheasants that turn up every so often. And they like to eat these queen cells that I throw away. So, these are all capped cells. And that is a good sign to show that it's been 7 days since they were produced. It takes 7 days for a queen cell to become a capped queen cell. So that means that it pretty much, as I added the Formic Pro, the bees were unhappy, possibly saw off their queen, and started making queen cells. There's a queen cell here as well, which I'm going to get rid of. People who make Formic Pro are unsure on whether the queens are killed by the bees out of like protest, or if there's some other reason. I don't think that frame goes there. It was here. Cool, watch out. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave this colony now for a few weeks, see if it's queen right, and if it's not, by the time I come back in, I'm going to combine it with a nuke. Oh, that's a shame. I'm guessing that the next one's going to be in the same situation, so I think that's going to be queenless as well, just because these two queens were probably the oldest queens that I have. So we'll do a quick check on this as well. So if you get to the situation where your hive is queenless and it's, say, October time, you'll not be able to get a mated queen in October, or a well-mated queen anyway. So what I would suggest is either getting a nuke and combining with a nuke, or shaking it out with another colony, or just combining it with another colony in general. I'm going to start in the top box, just because the other one had its queen cells in the top box. Not these similar. Yeah. Just pull this frame out here. So these are really propolized in. So look. Oh, it's a heavy honey frame. Look at that. Wow. Honey, honey. More honey. This colony was really ready for winter. Full of honey, and again honey. This frame's slightly lighter. It's got nectar in it, I think. Yeah. So I think this top box must just be completely honey. Whoop. Yep. Yeah. Eggs in there. No eggs in there. Okay. Not worried yet, don't worry. Ooh. I've not seen any eggs. Doesn't mean anything. It could just be the top box is full of honey. So we've got some brood here. I'm not seeing any queen cells yet, so that's good. So let's have a quick look in these cells and see what we're dealing with, see if we've got any eggs in here. No eggs yet that I can see, but no queen cells either, so that's positive. Okay. Yep, no eggs. Some cap brood though in the middle, so that's okay. I have to smoke these guys. Oh, smoke. There it is. God, it's like it's night time and it's only midday. Jeez. Look. Keep putting that away for some reason. No eggs yet. No eggs here either. Okay. I think I'm going to have to go into the bottom box to get my answer. And this is pollen and honey. Yeah, okay. Right, I'm going to have to go into the bottom box, it seems. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, that's very heavy. Right. Move these to the side. I'll tell you what, move them over there, won't back our way through. Smoke these down a bit, they're not too happy. The weather isn't great right now, and it's gone dark and horrible. I guess it's going to start raining soon. That is empty. It's got a lot of nectar on it. Bit of honey. The centre. Come on, out of the way. Still no eggs. Interesting. Not seeing the queen cells though, so that's positive so far. Have to see. Let's get smoke out. Ugh. Still no eggs. So this could be interesting to see if it's only the older bees that are affected, because those two over there are young bees. They were produced this year. These two hives next to me are older bees. They were produced last year. In fact, even I think that one over there was produced the year before. That was a white queen rather than a red one. Remember, if you're getting bombarded, smoke yourself, not the bees. You're an easier target to hit with the smoker. Still no queen cells, but no eggs either. What I might do is leave this colony for a week. So the bees seem very annoyed, and this is generally an okay colony, so points to me thinking that they are queenless. So this has got some cat brood on it, so we'll have a quick look. Where are you? Go. Oh, there's eggs. Lots of eggs. Oh, thank God. Right, so there is a queen in here. All of the larvae have what seems to have died. They've removed them, and now the queen is laying up like a trooper. Oh, thank God. Right, okay, so this queen is still alive. I was getting a bit worried, I'm not going to lie. But this is a frame that's been laid up, and it was laid up a couple of days ago because the eggs, well, a day or so ago, because the eggs are on their side. So that's good. So, right, I'm not going to investigate any more than that. I don't need to. There's a queen in there, she's laying up. I'm just going to close it up nice and gently. Make sure no one gets hurt. Okay, so that means that this colony is now pretty sorted for winter. I might feed them a little bit, or maybe not actually, because that super brood box was really, really heavy. Right, I'll smoke them all down. Put the treatments back on. As I said, the treatment is pretty much finished after the 3rd day, but it's always best to just keep it on and do the full time. Oh, right. Oh my God, yeah, these guys do not need feeding. Next week when I take those things off, I'm going to be closing these guys up, and they are done. They are done. Do not need to do anything else with these guys. Oh. See how they're hefting. Oh my God. Yeah, okay, so they're done. Okay, brill. I'm glad that the queen right. Alright, we're back at these two colonies. As you can see, the bees that I shook out before, there's only a few left outside now. And I think these are the ones that have been refused entry from the looks of it. So I wonder if the queen is out here. Let's see. The queen's not out here. They'll have probably killed her and then flown off with her somewhere. So, right. So hopefully we can go through these hives quickly and find some eggs. That's what we're wanting to see. This colony has 2 very heavy brood boxes full of honey. So, I wonder. We'll go to the bottom box first and work our way up. So this is my breeder queen, and she is a beast. Now, she is quite old though, so if this Formic Pro only really attacks older queens, then she may be in a bit of trouble, but we'll see. Pick this up. So I should really put a dummy board in, because this space here that you can see, that's just too short for another frame, they're actually building Burcombe in it now. So when you've got a brood box that's just slightly too big for the amount of frames that you have in it, it's best to get a dummy board. So What I'm going to have to do now is smoke this down and break it up, because otherwise this will become untenable if left to its own devices. Smoke that. And you'll see what it looks like in a second once I've got rid of these bees. When you're doing this, just be very gentle, because the queen could be in there. But as you see, look, lovely thin piece. I'm just going to shake that off. Lovely thin piece of comb that they're doing absolutely nothing with, but it's keeping them happy. Right. There's another piece still. I'll collect now. So the way to remove this comb is to put your hive tool right against the flat of the hive body, and then just gently push down. So there's another clump there. So the reason I get rid of this stuff is that it's where they always put queen cells. If they're going to build a queen cell, that's where they're going to build it, because it's awkward for me to remove, and bees like to be as awkward as possible. So as you can, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a queen cup there. They haven't built any queen cells on it, which I guess bodes well. But yeah, so what we'll do now is we'll have a proper look. There's a tiny bit down there. There we go. Tiny little bit here. Okay, so this is full of nectar. More nectar. Okay. This has some brood on it. Don't know if there's any eggs in it though. Judging from the others, it looks like they just started laying a few days ago. So I may have to go through all of the frames. Can't find them. But remember what I said, we're looking for eggs, or if no eggs, then we don't want any queen cells. Oh, if we see queen cells, then we're in trouble. Now, if we get eggs and queen cells, then that's another matter. That's something that we need to figure out what to do with. So all I'm doing there is I'm just resting my hand on the backs of them very gently, and that just budges them across. I'm not doing any damage to them or anything like that. And we've got eggs, got loads of eggs on here. So that means that this colony is doing fine. Yeah, loads of eggs. Budge them across. Yeah, so we've got quite a few eggs on this frame. I'll check the next frame over after blinding myself. I don't think the queen's on this frame just because the eggs are all flat, or rather laying down. I've seen this queen for quite a while actually. Oh. Right, where's my smoker? These guys are getting antsy. This will be the last frame I check, to be honest. I've seen that they've got eggs. I've seen they've got some brood. And I can't see any queen cells. So that's positive. Okay. This is nectar here. I'm just blowing them. Don't need to budge them out the way too much. Just blow and they'll move, hopefully. And I don't have any more eggs on his frame. That's okay. She might have been moving upwards, so bees work vertically more than they do horizontally. The reason for that is because bees usually hang out in the cavities inside trees, so they're used to working upwards rather than across. So I'm just going to see if I can find a dummy board. Oh, so that's a solid no. So I'm just going to have to deal with them building bare comb over winter, I think. Right, over here. Turn you off so I don't waste the battery. Right, I'm going to put this on there. So, put the treatments back on. Again, the smell of formic acid has gone, so I think that these treatments have actually finished completely, but we'll see. Oh my god, these are so heavy. Oh my god. So I've seen eggs, I've got loads of food, and they've had a varroa treatment done. Oh, for God's sakes. Ah. I'm going to have a quick look in this one here, because I can see food. I'm just seeing if I've got anything else in here. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to give the bees too much space to deal with. As soon as you give them too much space, then they can start to die because they can't keep themselves hot. But these guys have filled this one with food. So what might happen is, as it gets colder, bees will go out with the bottom box and start moving upwards. As they eat the honey, as they move up, the queen will start laying up here a bit more, because that's where the heat will be. These bees have loads of food. Not going to run out anytime soon. That's good. Yeah, right. Put this on. So I found eggs. I'm happy. I'll still check them next week when I take the treatment off, and we'll make sure that the eggs that were laid are brood and aren't just remnants from the queen before she died, etc. So we're still not completely out of the woods, but we're doing okay. We're in some nice glade rather than some dingy woods, as it were. Right. Click, click. Oh, so this colony, it's done really well. I was worried at first, but then as I started handing them more bees from shakeouts, this colony has just done really well. I'm very proud of them. Let's hope that the queen's still going. I have no idea how old this queen is. I think she was a virgin when we got her, but we'll have to see. So the bees have already started chewing away at the paper on these ones, so that's cool. Right, let's break you guys apart and have a look inside. And then I've got to go to the other apiary. Lickety split! Oh, because I can feel the moisture. Autumn as a beekeeper sucks because you're constantly dodging in and out of rain. Right, let's punk you over here. Now I'm not expecting them to be laying eggs out here right now. I'm going to look for some other brood, and then I'll check where that is. Just full of nectar. If I find nothing here, then I'll check the other boxes. But generally they store food in the other boxes. I certainly feel it anyway. Right, so I found some brood here. Some cat brood. Don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? There you go. So I'm just going to use my torch and have a look inside the cells that are in between, see if I can see some eggs. So no eggs as of yet. That's okay though, because we'll go to the next frame. And that's the most central frame. So put you across. I'll have to smoke these bees. Where's my smoker? There it is. I know you guys can't see right now. Should I bring you a bit closer, maybe? I don't know what's the best place to put you. Just have to take my word for it, I'm sorry. It's not a great place for this hive, I'm afraid. I didn't think I was going to start a YouTube channel when I built this apiary earlier in the year. So I apologise for that. I should really have thought of that. Hopefully when the next apiary is built, that's a bit better for you guys. Okay, so that's gone to food again. So that was just a single frame. Hang on. Do you mind? Cheeky. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this frame back. So I have seen one frame of brood, but there was no eggs on it. So I'm just going to check this frame here. Remember rightly, when she first came to us, she was laying all of her brood in these front frames, which is very different compared to other warm way colonies that I've had. Usually they try and stay away from the entrance as much as possible, but she seemed to quite like the entrance. So we'll have a quick look, see. And there we are, so some more brood. I need to check for eggs, so I'll do that now. There's my torch. So the bees aren't trying to sting me as such, they're just getting in my way. I can't see any eggs yet, but positive I can't see any queen cells either, so that's a good thing. I'm going to have to shake this frame off, I think, because I can't see anything. Right. This is another frame that was originally brood, but they've started storing nectar in it. Oh. So, interestingly, I found... Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Interestingly, I found some larvae where they've started dismantling them. So if you can see down there, that there is larvae that was around the edges, and they've clearly died from the Formic Pro. That's a shame, really. But they have started dismantling those larvae. Now what they'll do is they'll either chew them up and spit them out, or they will eat them, like eat, and then they will use the protein gathered from that to help produce the other larvae in the future. So I'm going to have to smoke these guys down because they're getting very uppity. It could have been to do with me kicking the hive by accident. So we're just looking for 1 or 2 eggs. Come on. Or even a sighting of the queen, that'd be interesting. I've not actually seen the queen from this one yet. And we've got some eggs. Not a huge amount of eggs, but we've got some eggs. Have a look on the other side. I can't see because too many bees. Watch out of the way. Oof. So I've seen some eggs. So it means that the queen is still here. Look at another frame. Problem is that the bees have clumped. Because what will have happened is the foragers will have come back a bit after foraging, and they'll be looking to climb up to the top and store all the lovely nectar that they've just collected, and I've nicked their boxes. So they're probably just wandering around going, what the hell's going on? That's why it's looking particularly full at the moment. Also, they might be in high alert because I have taken a colony out in front of them. So that's just pollen. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put them back together. I've seen some eggs. I'll do another check once I've finished the treatment next week. When you're doing any movements or anything like that, try and be as careful as possible, because if the queen's in there, chances are you could squish her. The main reason for queen death in a colony of a managed hive is usually the beekeeper, because we are idiots. Even if you think you're the best beekeeper in the world, you'll still end up killing a queen at some point by accident. By the way, I do not feel like I'm the best keeper in the world. I am far from it. There we go. Oh, I was up and down. Ah! It didn't like that. Go on, right, all of you, get down, calm down. They were not a fan of that. Right then. Put you there. Let's put you here. Let's try and get you away from the edges so I can put the next boxes on. Away. Right. Let's put these boxes on. I'll leave them to it and go to the other apiary. Oh, I'm very interested in seeing what's going on in this colony, in this box. Go on then. Let's open it up and let's have a quick look. Just for you at home, this is a terrible idea. Don't look in boxes unless you really need to. This is one of those things, as do as I say and don't do as I do, because unfortunately I'm naturally curious. I can't help myself. So that's a honey frame. I think it's all going to be honey frames, but I really want to have a look to see if the queen's moved up rather than across, because 2 frames of brood is not a lot of brood. This is honey, both sides. Honey. So let's move it across a bit more. So the brood was in these frames here. God, this is like probably terrible viewing for you guys. Not being able to see a bloody thing. Alright. Do you mind? Let's lift this up and have a look. See if there's any brood here. There's no brood here, it's still just honey. That's a shame. I was hoping she was hiding her brood from me. I just found it. But no. Positive is there's no queen cells. If there's no queen cells, then there should be queen right. The only issue comes if the get off. The only issue comes if they were unable to make a queen because all of the larvae had died. If that's the case, then they are scuppered. But I'll show you how to figure out if a colony is queen right or not. If I believe that this one is not queen right. Right. Smoke them down. And then put the other one on top. And we're going to call it quits at this apiary and have a look at the other ones. Whoops, falling over. FYI, when making flooring of your apiary, don't use plywood, especially in a woodland setting, because it just turns into a very slippery place to handle heavy boxes, as I keep finding because I keep slipping over. Right, okay, so right, next apiary. Before I go to the other apiary, I thought I'd just quickly show you what these guys are up to. You've got a little clump down here somewhere. My guess is that the queen's there, and then this here are all the bees that have made their way up. My guess is that the queen is in this clump. Oh, I'm gonna have a quick look. There might be some bees underneath. Yeah, there's a big cluster of bees underneath. So I can turn that over. And you can see the cluster of bees there. So my guess is that the queen is in there. So I'm going to try and get this cluster to move into that nuke there. So if I hold that like that and just start brushing. There you go. So that clump is now all in the entrance of this nuke, which has probably not helped the security guards too much, but it has meant that the cluster is not going to freeze to death tonight. There you go. So I'll put this back on the floor here, so if anyone falls down, they can be saved. But they should be alright now. Right, to the other apiary. Right, so it's been 2 weeks since I was last at this apiary, and this will probably be the last time that I do a video in this particular spot. It's quite sad actually, because this is the second apiary that I had. Quarantine apiary was the first one I had, and this was the second one I had. And it's quite sad to be leaving this area. Granted, I'm staying at the same site and go to a different area, but me, my dad and my wife spent the best part of a winter preparing the area, because this was like really flooded at one point, and it was yeah, it was really hard work, but we managed to make a really good apiary out of it, and now I'm moving on, so it's a shame, but it's life in it. And supposedly the next apiary is going to be really good, so I'm going to be getting a better deal out of it. It's just sad to see it go. Oh, right. So last time I came to this colony, it was completely queenless. I had a feeling that there was a virgin queen ring about, so I just closed it back up and left it. And I said that I'd go and see what it was up to. Well, I was supposed to have seen what it was up to last week, but obviously I didn't get down here, so yeah, we'll see what's going on. They're definitely not particularly nice bees, these ones. These are the remnants of one of the imported queens from earlier in this year. That queen was doing really well, so much so that they decided they were trying to swarm, and in doing so, I moved the nuke. they killed the queen, and yeah, this has just been floundering since, really. Started off one of the strongest of the year, and now it's just floundered. It's a shame, but that's life. All right, so look. So we've got empty comb. That's very often break up space. So if there's going to be any brood in here, it's probably going to be in these central frames here. So what we're hoping for is some worker brood, because it's been a few weeks now. Hopefully that queen will have been mated, and there'll have been enough time for the brood that she's laid to have been capped. Still can't see anything. That's fine. We're only 3 frames in. Just bear with me a second. Come on, dear. Watch out. Oh dear. If they're coming for you, smoke yourself, remember. You're an easier target to smoke than the ones flying around, because otherwise you're going like that. That's no use nor ornament. Right. They are not happy, these guys. Usually when you get a particularly nasty hive, it's because they are queenless. See if there's any eggs. No eggs. So it's gone really dark, and it did start to rain just, but it's eased off a little bit, fortunately, so that's good. Oh, so why do queenless hives become grumpy? Generally, the younger bees that don't sting and are relatively nice, they slowly turn into forager bees, and there's no increase of those young bees. So it means that all you have are the grumpy foragers, which is what I think is the case for this one. I think this is a queenless colony, and I think it's going to die out, unfortunately. I can't move this colony until this week, so if I add this to another colony or anything like that, it would cause too much disruption for them, so it wouldn't be a good combination. They would probably rebel and kill whatever queen that I've combined them with. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to wait until I've moved them to the new spot, and then on the inspection after movement, so next weekend probably. Stop trying to sting me in the face. So next weekend I'll probably combine this with one of the others that are queen right, because it is quite strong. It's got a lot of foragers. It just doesn't seem to have any queen bees. So they're not trying to sting me as such. They're just jumping to my fingers to try and figure out what I'm up to. So I'm going to go through it all the way and just make sure, but my guess is that this is completely queenless. No eggs, no nothing. Don't have particularly not much food either, so what I may even do is just shake them out. Again, it's a shame, but it's just the way it is. So there's a few colonies like this here. I've got 3, I think, that I need to check. The rest, as long as they're weighing okay, that's all that matters really. Because I know that they're queen right, unless something horrible's happened in the meantime. We'll see. Yeah, so this is a completely queenless colony. What I might do is, because I'm not going to be combining them anyway, if I'm just going to be shaking them out in front of another colony, I'll just have a look, see which ones around here are particularly weak, then I'll just shake this out in front of them, and then they'll bust to that hive for when I want to move them this week. Yep. Unfortunately, this is completely queenless, so it means that if I don't do anything, all of these bees, well, bees are going to die in the next few weeks anyway, but this colony as itself will die out. So if it's going to die out anyway, you may as well go and use the bees there to bolster another colony. Winter's always the best time to reduce colony numbers, just because one, it saves on feeding, so it saves you a bit of money, and two, usually when you're reducing your numbers, you are giving those bees, those colonies that you're reducing, to other colonies and strengthening them, so you've got a better chance of those other colonies coming through winter. So it's always good, if you're unsure if a colony is going to make it, just combine it with another one. Pick out whichever queen is best, get rid of the other one and combine them. It means that you have a really good strong colony to survive winter. Right, next colony. Right, off the top of my head, this is a queen right colony. I'll have a quick look in the top box, see if I can find some eggs. I'm not going to try and mess with them too much. They are strong. They are quite humid though, so there is definitely a patch of humidity getting around here. Ah! They are grumpy as well. I'm just going to smoke them down a little bit, just because they are a bit antsy for some reason. But yeah, so we've got some humidity coming in around these edges here. When it comes to winter, humidity is the killer. It's the thing that kills the hive, not the cold. You can have it in minus temperatures and the colony would still be fine. If it's too humid though, then chances of them surviving are very slim. Oops. So I want to, if this, do I board out? Shake this and we'll have a quick look inside. So they've just absolutely destroyed this frame. What's it? Oh, they've done that. They might have needed the wax elsewhere for cappings or something, but yeah, it's rare that they just absolutely destroy comb like that for no reason. They're very sticky to my hands though. Got the smoker here, just so it's constantly wafting smoke in front of them. Interesting. So bees can be very protective about the honey stores right now. So if they're struggling for honey, then they may get a bit grumpy. So let's have a look. How's it hefting? So it's hefting on 2 fingers, so it's quite light for a hive, especially a wooden hive as well. So wood hives usually heft a lot heavier. There's the imported queen though, so the queen is definitely queen right. You can see her. See her right there? Bright green dot. So definitely queen right. Yeah, and she is laying up. So we found eggs, we found the queen. Can close it up. I'm not happy with the humidity though. So there's 2 ways to deal with humidity. You either seal it up. You either seal it up, or you increase the ventilation. So these are vented bottom boards, or rather vented entrances on these hives. These are bellow ones, and they are pretty good, to be fair, for keeping the humidity out. Now the problem with wooden hives like this is that they do soak up water once they get to a certain point, and it's very hard to dry them out. This colony seems quite strong, quite able, so I'm actually surprised that they haven't managed to dry this out properly. There's not really much I can do other than increase the ventilation somehow. So what I might do is I might put like a small toothpick or something like that on the corners here when I put the crown board on, and just let them vent it out. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to seal them up and wait until I transfer them to a new apiary. When I transfer them to the mating apiary, then I'll have a look and see what I can do, because it could just be that this area here is particularly humid, so they're just unable to get the humidity out. Where I am in the queen mating area, It's not that humid. It's quite good. It's kind of like a bog in the depths of winter, but for right now the ground's quite dry. It's got quite good drainage for now. So yeah, maybe just the change of location will be good for these guys. Right, let's close them up. So I've just reminded myself then, these guys are going to be transferred from this apiary to the queen mating apiary. So what I need to do now is I need to secure these hives. It's just started raining. I need to secure these hives together, so it means that I can lift them up without things sliding around or falling off. So ratchet straps are the best way to do that for hives. So I've got ratchet straps anyway, which tie them down onto this stand. But I think the stands are probably going to go to the bin or be burned when these guys have gone, just because they've been here for a few years now, and pallets are great, especially when you put legs on them, but they don't last forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this ratchet strap out from under here, and I'm just going to put it on the actual hive itself. So that, and the way to get this underneath is by hefting it as such. So try and keep it as flat as possible when you're dealing with this. Doesn't really matter for weights like this, because these ratchet straps can do up to like 500 kilograms, and there's no way this is weighing 500 kilograms. But it is good to try and keep it as flat as possible. It just means that it won't interfere with the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this up and just slide this underneath. As soon as you get past the feet on an Abello hive, it's got two either side. Generally, you can have free reign to move it about and stuff and readjust. So here we are. So that is that done. So I'm going to tighten it up as tight as I can. That means that this one is ready for being transported to the new apiary this week. So when you're dealing with ratchet straps, a lot of people just put it through a tiny bit and then just start ratcheting. What you need to do is just pull it all the way through until it's kind of tight, like that, so it's virtually fully through. Wiggle it back a tiny bit, like maybe a centimetre or two, and then just start ratcheting. The centimetre or so that you give it will give it enough time for the fabric to go around, and now it's able to ratchet and use itself as grip. So that is tight. Play tune with it. That's perfect for picking up and moving about. What we also want to know is that the entrance block, which is this thing, this needs to be able to be closed. So with the Abello ones, they're quite good in the sense that all you need to do is take the white bit up, invert it and pop it down, and generally it makes quite a good seal for keeping the hive closed. So that's good. So that one's now ready to be moved. That's good. Go on to the next one. Now this one, I'll just check the rain. I'll get you on the leaf cover if I can. So this one is, it was a mated queen, but they've just been failing like crazy. I think I left them with another queen cell last week. I'm going to pull this out now while I remember. I think I left them with the queen cell 2 weeks ago, so the queen should have emerged by now. But we'll have a quick look and see what's going on. Leave that there for now. It's absolutely peeing it down now, so I may have to call it quits pretty soon. We'll see. Let me smoke this all over here. So there should be a dot somewhere where there was a queen cell. There's an X there. So I'm guessing that's where the queen cell was. Just seeing if there's anything else, because sometimes I can do a dot and then cross out a dot if I don't like the look of it. Yeah, so I can't see anything. Right, so look, they're not using that. So if this is queen right, what I may do when I get it to the mating apiary is put these bees inside a nuke box. Because this is small enough where this space is not going to hold them very well. It'll get too cold for them, and they may just end up dying just because it's such a large space for so few bees. So look. And what we have here is drone brood. They're kind of a mix, but it's not great. It's a terrible laying pattern. That's not good. Yeah, so we've got a mix of drone brood and worker brood in there. That is not a good laying pattern. Moving a bit further, see if maybe that was just her getting used to the superpower that she's got. But my guess is that this queen is naff. Oops. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, this queen's crap. So, right, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to build this back up. Then when I get to the other apiary, I'm just going to shake it out. Yeah, it's a shame, but this is just the way it is. Oh, so that's 2 colonies that are going. How many have I got here now? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 colonies here, and 2 are due to be shaken out, so that's 8. That's not good, but alas, it is what it is. I am going to write a little note to myself here. Poor queen. I'll tell you what, I'll write it in silver so I can actually see it. Poor queen. Replace. And the date's the 22nd. Okay. So what, I want to scrap, replace, and put shake out. Oh, good. Right, but this still needs to be transported, so I'm going to do what I did with the next one. Get the ratchet strap where I want it, and then heft it in place. It's light as out as well, so there's nothing actually in these frames food-wise. So, yeah, they wouldn't have been able to make it anyway. I could have fed them, but this queen's just not doing a good enough job. She's not going to be able to produce the winter bees that are needed to survive, especially with a laying pattern like that. So remember what I said? So you pull it tight as it is, and you move it back a centimetre or so, and then you start to ratchet. What happens is, as that spins, this starts to press onto this, and that's where the grip comes from. There we go, and that's now tight as a tiger. Sorted. To be honest, that's so light I could lift it myself. But yeah, that's a shame. Never mind. Right, next one. Right, the rain's really coming down now, so what I've done is I've built a little roof there for you guys, so I'm going to do this at a distance. Now these 2 should be queen right. This one is doing great. This is probably my next breeder queen, and that one was doing quite well as well. Got a spider on my head, go away. The benefits of having a veil is you don't get spiders in your ear. Right, so I think these 2 are both queen right, they're both doing quite well. So all I'm doing with these ones is I'm just getting them to a stage where I can transfer them. Yeah, so new ratchet strap. Need to apply these ratchet straps. Oh, this rain's really coming down now. That's annoying. Hopefully these nettles won't get in the way. Good job. Hopefully this next apiary that they build me won't have such a problem with weeds. Oh, this is a strong colony. Oops. Well, yeah. I just had a quick look just to see what was going on in there, and it's jam-packed full of bees. Sounds good. What we'll do is I'll push you close up. Right, so this is now ratcheted in. It's good. I'm going to ratchet the second one in. I'll have a look under the roof of this one before I ratchet anything in, just to make sure, but they were doing really well found. Yeah, there's a lot of bees there, from what I can see. Don't want to go in too much, but just want to have a quick look. Yeah, this is absolutely jam-packed full of bees. That's good, that's what we want. So one of the reasons why I'm not feeding these guys yet is because I want to keep them as light as possible, because you can't see because of the padding, but I've got noodle arms. I'm not very strong. So I like to make sure that this is going to be as light as possible for my pathetic arms. But they'll have enough food in there. They are hefting quite heavy. So they should be fine for now. But I'll start feeding them properly next month. Right. Whew, so I'm going to put like that. But these Swienti roofs that I also use as a floor as well, they have an issue in that they don't have an easy place to like lift from when you're doing checks. So you have to sort of do it from the side up and then just jam your fingers under there and hope for the best, really. But they don't really offer you much space for manoeuvring the ratchet strap. So you have to sort of, as I said, wedge your hand underneath, lift it, and then drop it. And my God, that's heavy. That one's going to be a pain to move. Also, the problem with these Swienti roofs when they're being used as a floor is that they don't have an entrance block. So it's very difficult to block up this entrance when, say, you want to move somewhere. So I'd suggest either using... well, first of all, if you can use another floor, use another floor. But if you can't use another floor, then I would recommend finding some foam packing. So you can get foam from all sorts of places. I've got a load of foam that's from an old foam mattress topper that I've chopped into bits, and it's really good just to shove in there. Easy to get airflow still through the entrance, especially when it's, because this is like a solid floor as well, so they need that ventilation, especially when you're moving somewhere. And it's also good because it goes in all the nooks and crannies just to stop those bees from getting into places. Right, now this one, it's a shame that it's raining so hard. The issue with this one is that I don't know if it's got a queen in or not. I'd say it's too rainy now to actually look inside because I'm getting drenched. You're nice and dry underneath the roof that I've sorted out for you, but I'm getting a bit wet, so I don't think it's a good idea to open this up. Although saying that, I did just see a wasp climb in, so I'll do a quick open up the roof, just have a quick look, but I won't do any more than that. Come on. Just need to free this ratchet strap so I can ratchet it for moving, and we'll have a look. And there's bees. There's lots of bees in there, so that's okay. Right, so it's got bees in it. It's not been overrun by wasps, which is a big problem at this time of year. So yeah, I'm just gonna ratchet it up, and we'll investigate it next week. Hopefully it won't be raining next week. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, slimy. Yeah, I do not like the weeds at this place. That's the one thing that we're completely unable to not stop. Underneath all of this grass that you see is that anti-weed matting and wood chips. So as you can see, the wood chip worked as a really good fertilizer, or a really good soil for the grass and the weeds. So yeah, I just couldn't stop that. Couldn't stop the weeds from coming through, annoyingly. Right. Right, we'll move on to the next ones. So I don't know how I managed it, but I managed to keep you guys undercover while I do this. It's absolutely coming down now. It really is. So I'll have a quick look at this under the roof. It seems to be what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, so there's loads of bees in there. Happy and healthy. When I finished moving them, I want to be doing Formic Pro on these guys as well. Now all of these queens, to the exception of this one and the queen that's going to be my new breeder queen, they're all pretty new. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put the... Oh my god, this one's so heavy. I'm going to really struggle lifting this in a few nights. Whew. Hope I can find someone strong to help me. Right, let's ratchet this down. Right, I'm just going to smoke these bees in, and then I'm going to put the entrance block on. Oh, here's one I prepared earlier. So I've just noticed the bottom isn't fully pushed in, so let's see if I can do that now. I'm going to have to loosen this. Damn it. So you want these boxes to be pushed right up to the edge here on these entrances. These are bellow entrances anyway. Otherwise it'll leave a little gap where the entrance block is, where the bees can squeeze through. That's the last thing you want to do, or have to be dealing with when you're moving heavy boxes, especially ones this heavy. Right. Oh. Right. Another sweetie one. Right. So this one's fortunately quite light. Oh, say that. Still heavy. But it's light compared to the other ones, so that's good. Little miracles and all that. Have a quick look under the crown board. Just bees under there. Right. So I'm definitely going to have to feed this one, I think, because it is very light. It did have a lot of food a few weeks ago, but it has been pretty much non-stop rain since, so the bees have probably eaten all that food, really. Right, I've got 2 more to do. Don't need to do anything with these guys. These guys are doing amazing. By the way, last time I was in. So these were 2 queens that were bred from the imported queens that I got in April. So these guys have done, well, they've given me no honey whatsoever, annoyingly, but they have been quite strong since, and they've been building up the numbers and getting stronger and stronger. So I'm hoping for next year they'll do me proud, unlike their mothers, which were a massive disappointment. Oh my god. You. There we go. Oh, right. A quick check. Whoa, loads of bees up there. Oh. So I don't know if you can tell from the jaunty angle that these hives are at, but this stand has seen its last days, definitely. It's absolutely battered. And it's leaning to one side because these hives are so heavy. Right, last one, and then I'm going to have to say goodbye because it's absolutely hammering it down. I'm getting drenched. So I already know some beekeepers who have stopped inspections completely. Now they just don't see the point, and I understand where they're coming from, because at this point of the year, all you can do is cause trouble for the bees. You can kill the queen by accident, which is definitely something that can occur very easily. But yeah, so what they're doing now is they're just leaving the bees to it and topping them up with food here and there, which is perfectly fine to do. If you've got all your varroa treatments done and out of the way, then you're just onto the feeding job, really. Again, I don't really hammer the feeding home until the October time. The majority of my feeding occurs the first week of October, where I come over to the hives pretty much every other day and just check on food and just keep topping them up until it gets to the point where it feels like the hives are glued down. I'm just going to see how this one weighs. Yeah, so I can lift a few of these on my own if needs be, but I'd very much like someone's help. But yeah, when these guys move, I'm moving a few of my other bits and bobs, and then won't be back in this area, which is such a shame. Oh, just a shame that it's peeing it down on the last day. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, then please hit the subscribe button, which should be up here somewhere. More than anything, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye bye.